Thank you for joining us for a pre-tender briefing for the Local Buy Traffic Management Services Arrangement, LB325. Next slide, please. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we work and live and recognise their continuing connection to land, water and community. We pay respect to elders past, present and emerging. My name is Pat McCormack. I'm the Local Buy Category Manager responsible for this new LB325 arrangement, and I'm joined today by Audrey Dobell. So Audrey is Local Buy's Customer Relationship Manager for Northern Queensland and the Northern Territory. There's also a picture of Liz McFarlane there. So Liz manages Southern Queensland and Tasmania. So why are you here today? So you're here today to find out what is Local Buy and what our pre-qualified arrangements are all about. I'll give you a run through of the new LB325 Traffic Management Services Arrangement. We'll give you an idea of the platforms we use. So these are the computer platforms that we use to present our arrangements to councils and other purchasers, and the ones that you'll have to deal with. We'll give you some key pointers on how to make the most of the Local Buy arrangement, and also where you can go for support. So the idea of this pre-tender briefing is to give you, as a new supplier, an introduction to Local Buy. So Local Buy was established in 2001 by the Local Government Association of Queensland, which is well known as LGAQ, to meet the needs of local government's procurement processes. Our arrangements enable councils and government authorities to purchase a broad range of products and services from our pre-qualified preferred supplier arrangements without the need to undertake a tender process or even to request multiple quotes. So it streamlines the whole procurement process. We're a profit purpose organisation, so all profits that Local Buy make are returned to the Local Government Association of Queensland to benefit the member organisations, which are the 77 Queensland councils. So Local Buy arrangements are an exception under section 234 of the local government regulations, and they cover local government contractual arrangements of any size, particularly the medium and large size contract arrangements. So which organisations can purchase through Local Buy arrangements? So particularly this one, all Queensland councils, all Northern Territory councils, regional organisations of councils such as ROCs, government-owned corporations like Unity Water, SEQ Water, state government departments, agencies and statutory authorities, water and port authorities, charities and not-for-profit organisations, universities and schools, and large private-owned corporate entities, my apologies, who have been approved to use the contracts. So this particular arrangement, it's a new arrangement for Local Buy. Traffic management services were covered as a category under our BUS 270 arrangement, but it was felt that they weren't getting the exposure to councils and that the amount of expenditure on traffic management services warranted a standalone arrangement. So this one has the Local Buy number LB325, and it's simply named Traffic Management Services. So the intent of this arrangement is to provide councils and other purchasers in Queensland and the Northern Territory with direct access to you as a supplier of traffic management services and equipment by providing an effective and streamlined procurement process. And it also allows those purchasers to maintain transparency of their spending and to meet their probity requirements. So the arrangement was established in response to council requests for a contract of this type. Arrangement name, Traffic Management Services. The tender is opening on the 1st of February 2023. It closes on the 28th of February 2023 at 2 p.m. The initial term of the arrangement is for 3 years, which will expire on the 30th of April 2026. However, please note that there are 2 optional extensions, each up to 36 months. So if they are both fully utilised, the arrangement will stay open until the 30th of April 2032, or a period of 9 years. There are 3 categories: provision of traffic management services for roadworks, public events, any requirement that a council has for traffic management services. There's the planning and approvals, where you prepare traffic management plans, traffic guidance schemes, consultation with authorities, notifications to residents, applying for permits, etc. And there's also equipment hire. So equipment hire is not meant for other equipment outside traffic management equipment. So equipment provided must be compliant with the relevant manual of uniform traffic control devices, and it can include portable booms and traffic lights, BMS, arrow boards, lighting towers, anything to do with traffic management, but it must be traffic management equipment. So there are 2 contracts applicable to local buy arrangements. The first is the general conditions of contract. So as an appointed supplier, this is your contract with local buy. So we'll point out, it's quite a large document, but there's a very useful summary of all the important items, which is Schedule A, located towards the back of the document. So that includes things like contract number, the arrangement commencement and expiry dates, the extension periods, the insurance levels required, the contract management percentage, verification fees, pricing schedule period, who is the category manager, the purchaser conditions, and those purchasers who are able to use the arrangement. So look, definitely recommend, of course, that you read the contracts that are applicable to the arrangement, but this Schedule A is a very useful summary, and if all suppliers read Schedule A, it would probably cut out about 3/4 of all inquiries that suppliers have to local buy. There's a second contract, which is the default purchaser conditions of contract. So this will apply to your relationship with a purchaser who engages you through the arrangement. So it has evidence of contract, the quoting and order process, supplier obligations, invoicing, payment, termination, dispute resolution, assignment and subcontracting, workplace health and safety. So purchasers can use other engagement contracts if they wish, but if another one is not nominated, then this is the applicable contract. It's also worth noting that during the tender period, tenderers have the opportunity to raise departures to both the general conditions of contract and the purchaser conditions of contract. So you are provided a template where you outline your departures to specific clauses, and local buy will review those and will negotiate those changes with you. Your pricing. So successful tenderers, that is those who will be appointed to the arrangement, will be required to complete a vendor panel rates card. So this will show pricing for a range of products and services that local buy has put forward. A pricing schedule is not required to be completed as part of your tender submission. Once again, successful tenderers will be issued an invitation to complete that rates card. All prices are in Aussie currency, GST exclusive, and worth noting that the maximum prices that can be charged for work obtained under the arrangement. Your prices are fixed for the initial 3 months, and you can submit requests for pricing changes to myself as the category manager after that time, but we would request these price amendments can be requested every 3 months, but we do ask suppliers to limit them to annually if possible. just go back one slide, please. Purchasers will conduct a request for quote processes to obtain competitive pricing based on their specific requirements. So purchasers will issue selected suppliers a request for quote through vendor panel, and that will contain information on their specific requirements and allow you to provide a quote to them. So using this arrangement, purchasers may establish period pricing with one or more suppliers. And we have suggested in the specification document that when that period pricing is requested, that they also put forward an agreed rise and fall formula to be included in the terms of that engagement. Accreditation and compliance. Traffic management is a heavily regulated industry. Appointed suppliers must meet all legislated and technical requirements. So to be appointed to the traffic management category, you must be on the TMR register of traffic management organisations in Queensland. You must have relevant work zone traffic management certifications in the Northern Territory. There is provision there for CAL accreditation in the Northern Territory as well. Suppliers must provide details of their quality assurance, workplace health and safety, and environmental management systems. Please take note of all information supplied in those questions. Certification by a third quality party in those areas is highly desirable, although it may not be a mandatory requirement. Demonstrated evidence of internal management systems, including detailed internal manuals, may also be acceptable. Minimum insurance levels: public liability insurance, 20 million, product liability insurance, 20 million if you're supplying goods. Professional indemnity insurance, 2 million per occurrence, where you're preparing traffic management plans or traffic guidance schemes. And of course, the statutory work cover insurance, you'd also be expected to have all the appropriate vehicle insurances, etc. Anything else that a professional company providing those services should be deemed to have. So there's verification fees. So this is an annual fee that Local Buy charges suppliers. The details are once again included in that Schedule A of the General Conditions of Contract. So new suppliers, or those that have never been appointed to a Local Buy arrangement before, charge $500 for the first year and $250 per year after that. So ongoing suppliers charge $250 per annum for this verification fee. There are a large number of exceptions or organisations that would not have to pay the fee, including small companies under 20 employees, Indigenous enterprises, etc. So once again, those details are in the contract documents, and I urge you to apply for that exemption if it's applicable to your organisation. So there's a contract management fee. So Local Buy will charge you 1.5% contract management fee on work that you obtain through the arrangement. So an example of this cost is that if you raise invoices to the value of $40,000, so you get $40,000 worth of work through the arrangement, you would need to pay Local Buy 1.5% of that, which would be $600 contract management fee payable to Local Buy. So suppliers are asked to report their invoicing for work received through the arrangement to Local Buy each month, and then an invoice will be issued to you to cover the contract management fee. If you get no work, we still ask you to submit reporting, but that process should take about 30 seconds. I might pass it over to you now, Audrey, to provide information on vendor panel.
Thanks, Pat. Okay, so your first step in order to answer the tender for traffic management is to register yourself in vendor panel if you aren't already. We ask that you go to Marketplace and create yourself a business profile. So Marketplace is not a pre-qualified list of suppliers. While some of your businesses may also be business engaged under local buy arrangement number, buyers are not covered by the exception. And so why do we use vendor panel? You're required to be registered in vendor panel to receive our notifications of when we release tenders, and you'll also receive your notifications from council when they wish to purchase from you under a local buy arrangement. Many of our member councils use vendor panel as their procurement platform. Your next step is then to register an APAT 360. This is our electronic tender platform. The only time you will use APAT 360 is when you're answering a tender between local buy and yourself. And the email address is there on the screen for you to go to. It will require a sign up or a sign in, depending if you have used this platform previously. Please do keep an eye on all of your emails. All notifications coming from 360 will come to your inbox. We quite often find that it's a bit of a generic email, so it does fall into spam or junk folders. If the category manager, in this case is Pat, is going to send you out a clarification or an addendum, this is how you will be notified by email. So really important that you check those daily, especially when the tender closes, for at least the first 2 to 3 weeks after. Just doing a quick recap on what we have been through today. Remember to give yourself enough time to complete the tender. Please don't start it on the last day and ask for an extension of time, because unfortunately we can't grant that to you. You can start your response at any given time throughout the month when it's open. You can come in and out of the APEC portal as much as you like. You can even submit before the closing time. And if you think of something that you didn't add and you want to go back, you can reopen that completed submission. And as we just said, keep an eye out for those emails from APAT 360. They'll be really important messages for you to answer. All of your questions must go through the APAT 360 forum, which will be responded to you by the category manager. In this case, it will be Pat. During the time the tender is open, Pat is not able to talk one-on-one with you, just to cover the probity of the entire tender process. Now, APAT 360 only opens once the tender opens, so you can't jump in there prior to the first day to have a look at any of the information. You do need to wait until the first. What you can do is get yourself signed up to APAT, flag it as an interest to yourself, and then you'll be alerted once it is open. Remember to complete all the questions in full and supply all supporting documents that is requested from APAT 360, just to save time later and being asked to provide it at a later date. For more resources, we do have our 2 local buy websites. We've got localbuy.net.au and localbuyactive.com.au. We also go out on social media for regular updates via LinkedIn and Facebook. Our evaluations will commence once the tender closes, and you'll be notified of your appointment within the next 4 weeks from this date. So look out to your inbox for any notification from local buy as well. And don't forget we are here to help you, so don't forget to reach out to Liz or myself during the month. But once they do close, you are more than welcome to connect with Pat as well. Is there anything else you would like to add, Pat?
Yes, I'll just say to those suppliers who are appointed to existing arrangements for a specific council for the provision of traffic management services, and you're wondering if it's worthwhile registering on this local buy panel. When you're appointed to a local buy panel, it allows your organisation has visibility to all Queensland councils and state government departments. So particularly if you're looking for work outside your council area, the arrangement would be suitable for you. You might say, well, why would I join the local buy arrangement? Because my council has its own traffic management services arrangement. Look, typically we find when we start the new local buy arrangements is that councils will use their arrangement until it expires and then start utilising the local buy arrangement, because it saves them all the trouble, time and cost of setting up their own arrangement again. So I would urge you to have a talk to your council contacts, tell them about this local buy arrangement and ask them if they think it would be worthwhile you being on board.
Okay.
So those tips again, register yourself on Vendor Panel, register yourself on APAD 360, review the emails. We send out addendums or any changes to the contract documents that we may have, but also if we get a query from a supplier that we think is worthy of sharing with the entire panel, we'll send that out to all tenderers. Please get it in on time. There are no extensions to the local buy contracts, but if you do miss out and you decide you want to put it in future, we conduct tender refreshes every 3 months. So those tender refreshes occur in February, May, August, and November. That's all from me. Anything for you to finally wrap up, Ords?
Yeah, don't forget to get in and register in Marketplace and Vendor Panel if you aren't already. And also, once you are appointed, we will run a new supplier session and take you through all of your obligations of becoming a local buy supplier, recapping on a lot of what we have looked at today and where to go on the portal to do your reporting. That will be a session that's held face-to-face or online. So look out for that. That will be in the 3rd month.
Exactly, and don't forget to if you're looking for further information to check the local buy website, www.localbuy.net.au. All right, thanks everyone for joining us. We firmly hope that we'll be working with you in future.
Thank you.